can get right into it. I think that'd be good. So I'm going to ask you some questions right here and right now. How many of you have seen the 1982 classic film, The Thing, Chad? As you all know, it's one of my favorite films of all time. I've talked about it on many a stream, my stream, Double Toasted. But how many of you have seen this film? And if you have not, why? You have to answer that question too. Why have you not seen this amazing sci-fi picture, this horror picture? Well, just yes, and it freaked me the fuck out the first time. Yeah, man, that's the point. That's why I love it so much. I have. It's one of my favorite horror. Good. I like these answers so far. These are good answers. I saw it only a few years ago, and for an anniversary showing, I allow it. I'll allow it, as long as you've seen it. As long as I don't think it could have been today, could have been last week, could have been 20 years ago. As long as you saw it, I'm happy. That's good. Kind of avoid the monster over one specific scene. Captain, fuck yeah, love The Thing. One of my faves also. Nice. Yep, in the 2011 movie. Now, I've seen all the Thing films. I've seen the original 1951 movie. 51, 52. It was the early 50s film. Obviously, John Carpenter's. And the 2011 film. Not a big fan of the 2011 film. I don't like all that CGI in my Thing movies. Get that shit out of here, chat. Get out of here. I don't like it. Can you do your eyes? Watch this movie again. Past Halloween. Chris Ayers, welcome to stream. Hope you're doing very well. Hello to you too. I've seen the important scenes. Okay, look, you saw the important scenes. Okay, I'll tolerate it. I'll tolerate it. What did CGI ever do to you? It made a shitty movie. It covered up all those wonderful practical effects. Like the 2011 thing has aged worse than the 1982 film. You have a big fucking issue. Like practical effects. I mean, look, yeah, of course practical effects will age. There's no doubt about that. But they age slower than CGI. The diabetes, yes, the diabetes guy, Wilford Brimley. He plays Wilford Brimley. That's what he'll be known as throughout the movie. I'll be referring to characters by like not always the actor's name. Obviously, McCready's Kurt Russell. You know, you have Keith David as Childs and all that. But some of the other people, I'm just going to call them by their character's name. Other people, I'm just going to call them by their real life names because they're just synonymous, chat. You just know this, like, that's the guy. I know. Like, forget what character he's played. No, that's just him in every movie. And that's what Wilford Brimley does. Although Wilford Brimley, he fucking overacts his ass off in this film, chat. Like, he seems very subdued. He's got a lot of expositions, but he's doing a good job. And he, on a fucking dime, chat, just snaps and he goes fucking nuts. Oh, I'm crazy. Oh, I'll kill you. Shoot. I love it, chat. It's so goddamn good. But it is with the diabetes guy. That's correct. Yes, the adventures of peanuts and diabetes. It's a good name. Very good name. But yeah, chat. Kind of give you a background for myself. You know, I saw this movie around the same time I started seeing a lot of sci-fi and horror films. Matter of fact, I saw an edited version on television probably like when I was like 12 or 13 years old. So even though they cut out some of like the good gory bits, like I still loved it. And eventually I bought it on DVD and then upgrade, of course, to Blu-ray. But no, this is a film that I'm obsessed with. I love it. I've watched analyzation videos on it, like who was infected first, how that possibly spread, how do you interpret the ending scene of this movie. Like I loved it. I mean, I am rocking the paraphernalia all the time, all my shirts and even little figures and things. Like I love the movie so much, and it's easily in my, if not my top 5, then definitely my top 10 films of all time. It is a classic. But it's interesting. John Carpenter, he's so appreciated now in so many directors. What, Sarah? Thank you for the 100 biddies. Hi, Chris. I'm excited for your review. Thank you. I'm just getting into it, Sarah. Right now, thank you again for the 100 biddies. But, John Carpenter, you could see his influences on so many films nowadays. I say in the last 20 years. But, like, back during his time, he was just an incredibly underrated director. Obviously, really popularizing stuff like the slasher subgenre of horror films, Halloween. Post-apocalyptic films of something like Escape from New York, which are, these films are very commercial and critically successful. So he did have successes, critical and commercial successes throughout his career. But he has these other films that people just didn't get at the time. And The Thing was one of those movies. Matter of fact, John Carpenter says that, he says, like, this is probably my best movie. It's the one that I'm asked about the most. And he also says it's the film that really changed my career in probably the most negative way possible, because when this film came out, like, now The Thing's beloved. You know, it's always cited as one of the greatest horror sci-fi films of all time. There's no doubt about that. But when this movie originally came out in 1982, it was despised by critics. They considered it to be one of the worst movies of the year. Matter of fact, it was nominated for a Razzie. Fucking get this, chat. It was nominated for a Razzie for worst score, and it won that award. It won. Ennio Morricone, his score. And the score is incredible. I mean, again, that's what you see, this fucking cosmic goddamn shift of opinion on this film, like later when it went to television and VOD. But there's just some stuff I'm like, okay, that's just objectively wrong. You know, you're saying that this is like the worst score of that year. It's like, people look at that score and go like that. Yeah, that sets the mood of the entire film. Other horror filmmakers point to that score all the time. It's like, that's something I would want in my movie. It's constantly referenced. It's ridiculous. And yeah, what happened with the film, chat, is when it came out, it bombed critically and commercially. I think it had like a budget of, let's see here, 15 million worldwide, had a box office of 19.6, or at least in just in North America, 19.6. But again, a flop. Carpenter said that audiences at the time just didn't have a taste for horror science fiction or like R-rated alien content, because this same year E.T. had come out like a few weeks ago, and of course was the biggest movie of the year, and that may have killed audience interest in the critic reviews. Didn't help either. But what happened with Carpenter, it's very, very sad. Carpenter had a long-standing deal with Universal to work on multiple projects. Matter of fact, Stephen King adaptations. Obviously, we know that he went on to do stuff like Christine later on in his career. But he was supposed to be the original director for Firestarter. But Universal took him off of that, and they canceled his contract. They basically bought him out. And so he wouldn't direct any films on Universal. So he became very disenfranchised with the Hollywood system. And he, of course, he would go on to direct, like great films. There's no doubt about no doubt about it. Like, They Live, Big Trouble in Little China, but again, not commercially or critically successful until much, much later. Christine was a success. But yeah, and again, like I said, it went on later to be a beloved film because of VOD, and it was picked up on television and just had it's a cult film. But even now, like, people say it's a cult film, but at this point, I think it's mainstream. Because, you can ask some guy in the street, have they seen the thing, and they go, oh, yeah. So I think it's superseded that title now, which is surrounded so far. Like, I don't think maybe in the late 80s and 90s it was considered to be a cult movie. But at this point, I think it's very mainstream and very beloved. Yeah. Oh, it's Starman. No, you're right. No, Chris Harris, thank you for bringing that up. He did do Starman with Jeff Bridges, and that was a success, I think. And Jeff Bridges even got, I believe, a Best Actor nomination for that role. So again, Carpenter, incredibly talented. Later on in his career, he did some stinkers, no doubt about it. Ghosts of Mars and Escape from L.A. And that's when he kind of like fell off and started just doing music and things, and being a producer on different projects. Most recently, he was a producer on the Halloween film, the spiritual successor to his original film. Also did the score for that movie. He did a fantastic job. I absolutely adore his score for that film. But yeah, I mean, I could talk about just all the nuances with this film, chat, really go into the nitty-gritty details. I mean, we can even talk about some of the fan theories later on, especially towards the end. We could discuss. But yeah, this film has such a weird history, and sadly, with a lot of Carpenter's work, he was just not appreciated for his time. Like, I always reference, too, Big Trouble in Little China, how, like, that film critically, commercially didn't do well, and then became a cult classic, and fucking Taika Waititi referenced that Thor Ragnarok would not exist without Big Trouble in Little China. It's like, I appreciate that, Give Carpenter his due, chat. He was just as influential as someone like George Lucas or Steven Spielberg, and they all came up during the same time. He never got the credit he deserved. Thank you. I'm sorry, I was on a rant. I was talking. Glee, thank you so much for the 50 biddies. Got down with your review of The Return of the Joker, and great job. Your Joker voice is on point. Thank you. No, I appreciate it, man. Oh. And Mr. Lowry, welcome to stream. Thank you. It's been a hot minute, my friend. How you doing? It's legitimately sad it wasn't popular at the time. Strange to me, honestly. I'd had to imagine it would be big today. I think it would be. Yeah. People miss practical effects. Yeah, we're just talking about The Thing 2011, which, again, I hate this. It has the same fucking name as, which, I mean, they did with the Halloween, too. But even then, I said, like, the new Halloween film should have been called something different. But they called The Thing, it's The Thing 2011 prequel. And they covered all the practical effects of CGI, and it looks shit. it looks even older. It looks worse than the great practical effects in the original film. So, but yeah, that's my monologue, chat. That's me getting on my soapbox, defending John Carpenter's legacy. But he doesn't even need me to defend his legacy. People, I think, know within the people in the film community who appreciate film and movies and science genre especially, what the impact he had. But he's a fantastic director. Please check out his other content, chat. I beg of you. I'm reviewing a lot more. Like, I've reviewed several of his films already on my stream, or at least one. I've reviewed Big Trouble in Little China, which again would be uploaded on my YouTube channel. Sort of, Mr. Lowry, another 100 biddies, thank you. Straight up, brother, I've been working on music and finally, nice, man. Missed the live shows, glad they really exist. I'm here for tonight. Oh no, hey man, I appreciate it. Yeah, and always feel free to watch the VODs. If you're not able to watch the live, I totally get it, I understand. VOD's actually been doing very well. The numbers are very good on that. And again, guys, thank you so much for watching 8-Bit Crumbs yesterday too. Hope you had a lot of fun with that. But now, we're tune in for Saturday. What is happening? Darkslayer with another 5 biddies. Kurt Russell's badass. Kurt Russell is always a badass, man. It's just like, where can we put this badass in different situations? Even when he's a fucking idiot, he's a badass. He has a moment. No, and he's great in this. I love R.J. MacReady. As you guys know, I mean, I have many alerts that are based off of John Carpenter's works, but one of my alerts is me as R.J. MacReady in honor of Kurt Russell's performance and John Carpenter's direction of that character. I love it. Chris Ayers, Andy has something he wants you to read. What do you want me to read, Andy? Andy, what's up, buddy? I don't have that many stories aside from Rob Botton. Oh, yeah. And his crew were coked out of their fucking minds, and that Stan Winston and his team were brought on to do the dog thing because Rob and his team were so burnt out. I believe that. I can see that. He did a great job, and again, we'll get into all the practical effects, Chad. But no, it's very interesting, Andy. Thank you. Yeah, no, I mean, we'll discuss every disgusting scene in very specific detail, chat. All the hentai tentacles, all the fluids coming out of the hentai tentacles. I'm gonna explain it to you. But first, we gotta start with the opening, chat. We are in outer space. We're getting all the credits. We got John Carpenter's name and everything. It's like, this is a film. And then what do we see fly by, chat? A fucking alien saucer. It's wobbly. Who's ever driving that goddamn thing, they're drunk. Go home, the thing, you're drunk. But he's not going home, chat. He's coming to Earth. And he wobbles his way to Earth. He crashes that atmosphere, chat. And then it's like, he just goes up and what happened to him? We don't know. But then the fucking title sequence comes in. And it's really cool and unique. It burns its way into the screen, chat. It reminds me of a classic 1950s horror film. They always had those unique opening title cards. I loved it. And then, chat, where are we? We're in fucking Antarctica. One of the last places on the planet I want to be. Antarctica just as a place is terrifying to me because it's just fucking snow. It's like, what's there? Fucking polar bears? It's polar bears and penguins and that's about seals. It's like, no, thank you very much. Penguins are squishy, but I don't want to deal with the man-eating seals, chat, and I don't want the polar bears, and I don't want to deal with the things and all the tentacles coming up inside me. No, thank you. But, chat, we're not there yet. Not yet. Because right now, we are just following a helicopter coming over a ridge, chat, and they're looking for something. And we're like, we don't know who they are. And they're fucking Norwegians, chat. Borsch, bork. They're saying all that. They're speaking the Norwegian speak. I don't understand it, but they're very intense in this moment. They seem like they have gone through fucking hell. And then they spot it, chat. We see this little pupper, and he's just hopping through the snow. He's having a good time. And then the fucking Norwegians like, bork, bork, bork. And they start borking at him, chat. Bork and bork. They start shooting at this little pupper. He's like, ah! And he's just running, chat. It's like, why are they shooting at this poor defenseless dog? It just wants to get away. And then, chat, they're like, we run out of fucking bullets. We're just going to throw grenades at him. So they're just starting to drop grenades, chat. It's like, what are you doing? They're blowing shit up. They're trying to get him, chat, shooting at him. And this dog is just running his ass off, chat, until he gets to a new location. And it is the U.S. Research Science Station, chat, Outpost 31. And we're introduced to a plethora of characters. As the Norwegians are borking at the dog, we're introduced to R.J. MacReady, chat. A badass, a American war hero, a Vietnam vet. He is now working at Outpost 31 as a helicopter pilot. Except for right now, again, I identify with this character because he just wants to do his job, fucking relax later, have a drink in his hand, and just play some video games. Chad's like, yes! He's me! That's who he is. And he's just playing some virtual chess right now, and he feels very fucking confident, Chad. He's refilling the glass. He's on his 5th drink, I want to say, based on how he's leaning over. And he's playing, he's like, I got this. She thinks that she can beat me. I'm going to do this move right here. He's like, there you go. What are you going to do now, honey? And she's like, beep, bop, boop, fuck you, checkmate. He's like, God damn it. And he pours, which is a waste of whiskey, though, so I was a little upset by this thing. And he pours the rest of his whiskey and ice in the computer. Fucking bitch cheated. I love it. And then he goes outside, chat, and he starts looking. We also cut to the inside of the camp where we see a plethora of other characters, chat. A lot. We have Keith David of Childs. Oh! Mr. Lowry, thanks for the 100 minis. Now you identify because you're fucking badass, brother. Thank you. No, thank you, Mr. Lowry. I appreciate that, my friend. That's very kind of you. But we're introduced to a whole bunch of characters, chat. We'll go through them, but we're introduced to goddamn Childs. We're introduced to Palmer, and he's a fucking druggie. He's constantly, every scene he's smoking something out of, like, either it's a doobie chat, it's a fucking bond, it's a goddamn pipe. It's like every time he's just smoking something. Wilford Brimley, he's playing some ping pong. He's playing some ping pong with Norris, chat. We're also introduced to Blaine. He loves the puppers so much. We got Gary. He's kind of the captain of the camp. He likes to think he's in charge, but we all know it's fucking Kurt Russell. Come on, it's obvious. We got Bennings, chat. He looks like Louis C.K.'s older, emaciated older brother. He's in this too. We have fucking Windows. He's got a big old poop. He's got a big old perm chat. He's always wearing sunglasses inside because he thinks he's cool. And we also have Knowles, and he is the camp cook. Oh, and we also have Dr. Copper, chat. And he's super cool because he's like a late 50s, early 60s-year-old man, and he has a little nose ring. I was like, that's a very specific and weird detail. But sure, let's go. It's easy to identify. It's the nose ring guy. His name is Copper. But chat, good old McCready, he comes out of the shack and he's just fucking drinking. Like, he likes to spend all his time alone. Like, I fly the fucking helicopters after that. Let me, I just want to go in my shed, okay? I'm gonna drink and play my video games. But he sees this goddamn helicopter coming. He's like, what the hell are they doing? And they're shooting at the bumper, chat. He's like, whoa! And then the guys, they're in the rec room, they're seeing all this shit. It's like, okay, let's get the hell out of here. What's going on here? And they're out there, chat, and they're asking, like, what does it say on the sign? And it says Nor. Fucking Copper says, those are Norwegians. Why are they shooting at the pumper? And then the dog, it just starts running up to, the Outpost 31 camp. And it's like, oh, it's jumping on them. It's jumping on Bennings. And the dog's like, oh, thank you. Thank God. Save me. And then all of a sudden, Jack, helicopter lands. And the fucking Norwegians, they come out, and you have this one guy, he's just screaming at him. He's like, you can't understand it because it's all bork. It's like, don't speak English, speak American, not your made-up Norwegian language, okay? And then he's going forward, chat, and then we get the other fucking guy in the helicopter, and he gets all of his box of grenades. And he's like, fuck that dog and fuck these American pigs. I'm gonna blow them all up. And he unleashes his grenade, chat, and fucking winds up and it goes backwards. And it's like, you blew it. And the one guy, the gun's like, fuck that, I gotta skedaddle. And he starts moving forward. The other guy's like, no, I got it. I can get the grenade. Fucking blows himself up, blows the helicopter up. Everyone's like, Jesus Christ. The crazy Norwegian chat, he gets his gun up, he's like, bork, and he shoots, and he misses a dog, but he hits Bennings, and Bennings gets him in the upper thigh, chat, the high upper thigh, and Bennings goes down. Everyone's like, what the hell is happening? Everyone's gonna get out of the way. McCree's like, I'm fucking too drunk for this, but I'm gonna see how this plays out. But then, chat, fucking, Gary, he breaks through the window of the outpost, and he's aiming his revolver, chat, right out there. And the Norwegian guy, he gives one last Bjork before he puts that dog down, chat. But before he can, boom, bullet to the eye. Good old Gary shot that man. He is down for the count. Everyone goes over to Bennings, make sure he's okay. Bennings, he takes the whiskey from McCready. He starts to, fuck this, I'm gonna drink too. I was just shot today, okay? And everyone's like, what the hell happened? What's this guy? And the people are speculating, maybe he had fucking cabin fever. And they're like, oh, this is so weird. Let's bring him in. And so they bring him in, chat. And, Copper, he's analyzing him. He's like, yep, he's dead. You shot him good. And everyone, you can tell that, like, these guys have been here for a while. They worked with each other because they all have their little dynamics. They all have their little cliques and things. Like, Palmer is very good friends of Childs. Like, that's kind of their thing. Gary is very good friends with Bennings. McCready kind of just wants to be left alone. But he has a good relationship with someone like Fuchs and like Norris and things. So it's like you get a sense like there's a dynamic between everybody, and McCready's like, what the fuck are these crazy Swedes doing? They're Norwegians, Mac, and fucking McCready's like, I don't care. Like there's something weird going on here. And Dr. Copper, he said, you know what? This is unusual. I want to go head up to where their camp is, because they find it on their map chat. Because everyone needs to know where everyone is on Antarctica. We all got to pull together. It doesn't matter what country you're from. It's like if things get fucked up, you need to help the other person, the other group. There's no doubt about that. And Copper's like, I want to go out there and see what's what. And McCready's like, it's fucking gonna snow. I just want to drink. Why do we gotta do this? He's like, we gotta do it, Mac. We gotta see if there's survivors. He's like, fuck, fine. And he gets the helicopter going, chat. Meanwhile, the fucking puppers with them, Blaine, he's the dog master, chat, the kennel master, if you will. And he loves puppers. And the dog's just walking around the camp. And the dog, as we see him, he's just immediately under the pool table just staring. Like, he's no longer a happy pupper, like, thankful for the stuff that they said. Like, he is just staring and occasionally, like, moving his head, looking at everybody. And it's like, that dog is weird. I don't think that's normal for a dog to do that, unless it's a fucking, like, wolf that's about to attack you, but, we shall see, chat. And so, McCready, he helps Copper get all the stuff in there, and they're gonna head over to the Norwegian camp and see what's what. Meanwhile, chat, we cut to inside the camp. And fucking, it's I guess it's nighttime. People are just like, we need to come. I guess it's nap time. I don't know if it's nighttime because it's always, well, at least it becomes night later on. But I guess like we're just gonna sleep, and because no one's around. And you have Superstitious, Stevie Wonder's Superstitious playing right now, and it is fucking amazing. You go in throughout all these different hallways, and that's the only thing you hear. And he's like, well, what's going on? Like, what's happening? And we hear fucking Bennons. He goes over there, Chad. He goes over to the intercom. He's like, Niles, turn that shit down. I was shocked today. And then he goes back to his bedroom. And Niles is like, I don't fucking care. He mocks turning the radio down, but he doesn't, Chad. Oh, Mr. Lowry, thank you again for another 5 minutes, man. That's got to be spooky. The dog you just saved suddenly becoming very suspect. Yeah, he's just staring and, like, not moving. It's like, that's a little unusual for a dog. Like, his whole body's just, like, rigid. It's a little weird. And so, chat, we have Stevie Wonder Superstitious playing through all the hallway, and then finally we just see the fucking dog. And it is creeping. It's creeping, it's looking through doors and shit, and it starts creeping again. And this dog, I gotta admit, chat, this dog is a fantastic actor in the film. Like all the dogs that they have. I think they used, they may have only used one dog. And he did, like, all these certain scenes and things, and apparently he was part wolf, so that's why he has that kind of dead stare, because that's what wolves do in the wild, so it works really well. Captain, thank you for the 100 biddies, my friend. Appreciate that. Oh, Andy, I know exactly. Oh, Andy thinks he's like, Chris doesn't know anything about this. Andy, I know a lot about this movie, my friend. I played in White Fang. Very cool. And so he's just creeping, chat, and he sees one door open. He sees a shadow. He's like, I'm going to get that fat son of a bitch. And he goes in there, chat, Shadow's like, what's that? We don't know what happened. Who was that? We don't know. Maybe we do. I have a speculation. But now, chat, we're following R.J. McCready's helicopter. They got the location of the Norwegian base. They land, and they see, like, this thing has been torn to shit. It's still on fire. It's blasted through holes. There's blood everywhere. Like, what the hell happened here? Like, all the vehicles are destroyed, and they go ahead and they head up in their chat. They break open the door. Again, like, feels like the roof has caved in certain places. Like, ice has gotten in there. It's just frozen over. And they get to this one room. Papers, equipment's just all over the place, chat, ripped up or, just incredibly heavily damaged. And, R.J. McCready's like, what the hell are these crazy Swedes doing? They're Norwegians, Mac. Get it right. He's like, I don't care. They all say Bjork. That might as well be Swedish speak to me. They're all the Swedish chef to me, chat. And so, Copper, he notices, like, this fucking very long, like, trail of blood leading to a chair and a guy just fucking sitting there. And Copper's like, Mac, look at this shit. And they go over there, chat, and they see that this man has both cut his wrist and his jugular, and his blood has frozen, chat. It's frozen all the way to the ground. It's a fucked up looking scene. It's like, ugh. And they're like, okay, something really bad happened here. Metal as fuck. It's pretty fucking metal. Sandy, hello, Sandy, and welcome to Stream. Hope you're doing well. Rose Venture, good to see you. Norwegian New Year parties are lit. I believe it, man. I believe it. You fucking throw grenades at people. You're shooting poppers all the time. They get a little nuts. There's no doubt about that. You're attacking American outposts in Antarctica. I have no doubt they're lit. The parties are very lit, as the kids say. But, now they're exploring more of the area, and they find, like, a fucking axe embedded in the wall, and it's, like, all bloody, like, what the hell? And they open that up. They go through another room. Copper's like, I'm going to look at these papers. There might be some, evidence of what they were studying here. MacReady's like, okay. Oh, also, MacReady finds, like, a portable video cassette tape, or cassette player with, like, multiple cassette tapes. VHS chat, very popular. And he's like, we should probably take this back. Copper's like, that's right. And MacReady, he goes, explores another area, and then he starts calling for Copper. And I really love this shot, chat, because the camera, it follows Copper up, and it's going back, and he's like this. Like, going for it. It's very tense. It makes me very anxious every time I see it. And then we see that MacReady is standing over this giant ice block. It's like, it's huge. It looks like it's like 10 feet tall, 10 feet in length. And apparently, these crazy fucking Norwegian /Swede, these Swedish chef motherfuckers, they took something out of the ice. All right? And so then, R.J. MacReady and Copper, they are just about to leave, and they're like, what the hell? We got all this stuff. We can head back. And then they fucking find it, chat. They find what, as Copper says, is that a man? And you just see a little bit of it, though. You don't see all of it. But it's just this twisted, fleshy thing in the ice. And it's huge. And they're like, we got to get some blankets and bring this back. And so Chat, Copper, MacReady, they wrap this thing up. Low in the helicopter, they bring it back, and then they fucking reveal this thing to everyone. Everyone's going, what the hell is that? And it's like two humans, chat, have been fused together, and they're like screaming in pain like the tons are connected. Again, this, Andy, we both have an appreciation for practical effects, but my God, the models they use in this movie, chat, are simply incredible. They have not aged whatsoever. This has not aged whatsoever. It's like you can have this in a movie nowadays and still look great. And you see this abomination monster, you're like, what the hell happened to this guy, these guys? Is that two people? Is that more than two people? We just don't know. And it's horrific, chat. Like body horror scares me the most is like if something happened, like if you had two people and that was done to them, oh my God, what a nightmare. Mr. Lally, think of the 100 biddies. Other reveals the effects are done so well. Filed out at a great pace. No, I agree, man. Yeah, each one, you always get like a new type of creature throughout the film, and I really like that. Again, the thing can be anything or anyone. That's what makes it so scary, And it also takes, they even say in the film, like it can, from all the other worlds it's encountered over time, taking the features of those creatures and combining with other features, it's really unique. And so they're looking at this thing, and, they say, Blair, that's Wilford Brimley. Wilford Brimley, diabetes, you gotta get in there, you gotta do an autopsy. Wilford Brimley's like, fuck, alright, I guess I'll touch. I'm gonna put on some rubber gloves, though, okay? I'm gonna put on some rubber gloves, which I would have put on rubber gloves, too, chat. I would put on, like, a rubber, I'll put on a giant condom suit, so I cannot touch that. It's like all the giant condom suits should have colored Wilford Brimley's chubby body, chat. It would have been safe. But he puts these gloves on, he's, like, he's not experimenting, but he's performing an autopsy. And he's like, that's a fucking healthy liver, that's a heart, that's kidneys. Like, this is human. This is human, and everything looks the way it should. And they're like, what the hell is going on? And, later on, Knowles comes in during the autopsy. Oh, Darkslayer, thank you for the 5 diabetes. So after the autopsy, chat, they're just talking, they're kind of in the rec room, and they're going over the footage now. And they're seeing that these crazy goddamn Swedes, chat, they blew something up in the ice, and it was huge. It's not just the block that they found, the 10 feet, long block. It was something far bigger. And they used dynamite to get out, and they're like, what the hell? What were they doing? And MacReady's like, I'm gonna head out there. Because before MacReady, he didn't want to head out there whatsoever. But he's like, nah, we gotta head out there and see what's what. Or no, are we at that point yet? Oh, no, we're not at that point. Excuse me. Not yet, chat. Not yet. They can't go just yet, I believe. So I'm skipping a scene. And so what happens next, chat, is they're discussing this thing. Knowles comes in. I think they see that, and MacReady says, well, I want to go check that out, like, tomorrow. And they're like, okay, we'll do that. And then Knowles comes in, he's like, who threw their dirty drawers, their shit-covered, their goddamn shitty underwear in my trash can in my kitchen, okay? And it's got skid marks all up and down, not just in the back, chat, everywhere. And fucking RJ McCready's just like, ooh, give me that. I was gonna play with it. It's like, no, it's gross. And it's like, who was it, chat? We don't know. Someone threw out their ripped up drawers, chat. While this is happening, fucking Bennings, he's playing. Some of the guys are playing cards in this conversation, chat, and the fucking dog just passes by and it hits his wound, chat. He's like, "Ow, Blaine, will you put that goddamn mouth with the others?" And Blaine's like, "Okay, I like the dog though." I'm like, "Blaine, we know you like the dog," and so Blaine, he goes ahead, he takes the dog, back, he takes the dog to the kennel, chat, and he puts the little guy in there. And again, like, oh, he tries to. He's like, okay, go ahead. And the dog's just acting fucking weird. It's just like, okay, I guess this is what dogs do. And he slowly creeps in there, chat, and it sits down. Or it, like, lays down, just staring. And they cut between the dog and a model and, like, a stuffed dog. It's a pretty good, effect. They both look real. How they shoot and everything. And Blaine's like, that's fucking weird. Even though the other dogs are like, what the fuck is up with this dog? It's like, they're not, like, growling at him yet, but they're like, It's a little odd. And Blaine, he locks up the kennel, chat. He's like, gives that dog one last look, and he walks off. And then we're just still the dog, chat. And the dog has not changed its position. It's just staring straight ahead. And then only hearing you just hear this hiss thing coming from it. And the dogs are like, oh, that thing's not right. That thing's fine. And they all start barking, chat. They all start whimpering, like, what the hell? And then the fucking dog's face just splits apart. And it's a monster, chat. It's the thing. It's like, oh my God. It was hiding in the dog the whole time. That's why those crazy Norwegians were shooting at him and trying to blow him up. He's the thing. And then it just proceeds to, its attempt to infect everything that it can possibly get its little tentacle hentai hands on. It starts spraying, its fucking head pops open and shit. It's like writhing on the floor and it's birthing all these like fleshy sacs. And it's vomiting or shitting out. I don't know what end this is of the thing, but this liquid, this like slimy green yellow liquid, it's bathing the dogs and all this shit. Fucking Blaine hears this. He's like, what the fuck is going on? What's going on? And he goes to check it out, chat, and he sees the scene itself. He sees this, the dogs burst out of the kennel. They're running, chat, the ones that could get away. And then he sees the scene. All these dogs have been wrapped up in these tentacles. He sees this fucking monster. He's like, oh my God, what the hell? He's like, oh, it's coming right. And he's like kicking the door because he fell over. He's like, no. And he locks the door, chat. And he's like, what's happening? Oh, thank you. Thank you, Mr. Love, for the 50 biddies. Well, that scene almost put me into therapy as a 5-6-year-old. Why watching this movie a 5-6-year-old? I swore our dog would do it. No, that's the last thing would happen to any one's pooch. Absolutely not. But then RJ McCready, he's like, I'm gonna go get a beer because he is constantly drinking in every single scene he's in, chat. Just before like a word of dialogue, other than when the shit really hits the fan, he's like, okay, I can't drink anymore. But he always has a drink in his hand. So again, Vietnam, he has that PTSD. He's like, I just want to be left alone. That's why he went to Antarctica, chat. There's a lot of context to RJ McCready. They fucking hear this thing, and RJ McCready hears like this hauling, the dogs. He hears the creature. He's like, what the fuck? And he goes over to the fire alarm, pulls it, chat, and like everyone's like, what the hell's going on? What's happening? And then goddamn Bennings, he goes to Childs, and he's like, Mac wants you to bring the flamethrower. And, Keith David's like, the flamethrower? He's like, you just do it. And he's like, shit, okay, I got to put my drawers, I got to put my pants on. Come on now. And then, chat, we cut to the group right now. And, RJ McCready, he's got a goddamn shotgun. He's seeing this. And what they see is just all the dogs wrapped up in the hentai tentacles. They see the thing is transformed again. It becomes like this weird skinless, like naked dog thing or hairless dog. And again, it's just like shooing its tentacles out and it's attacking other dogs too. And they're like, we gotta put this thing down. And so McCready and Gary, they just start unloading in this thing. They're shooting it, but they also shoot some of the dogs that are being hentai'd. And Blaine's like, no, not my puppers. And they're like, stay down, Blaine. They're dead, okay? You do not want to live once you go through a hentai-esque situation. And then, God, it's fucked up. This thing then bursts, because it's trying to escape at this point. It's like, okay, I got to get somewhere. I'm going to die here. It's because it's constantly trying to evolve in certain situations. And it births these giant monster hands that come out of its back. And they're very long. And it lifts itself up to the ceiling. And then meanwhile, fucking Keith David comes and he's got the flamethrower. And they're like, McCready's like, burn it, gotta burn it. He's like, get your ass in there. He's like, what the fuck is that? And then this thing, it's grown even bigger, chap. And it has like, it's like very Resident Evil-esque because it's covered in eyeballs now. And then one of the eyeballs, one of the pustules opens up and it births this like this giant vagina mouth and it goes rah and attacks Childs, but he burns it just in time. So a liquid fucking flame hits that thing and it's burning and it falls to the ground. And then it was kind of, I always thought this was weird, but they immediately go in there and use the fire extinguishers. Like, no, we're gonna let that fucking thing burn. We're gonna let that thing burn as long as we possibly can. But they go in there like, wow, okay. And then after that, they load this thing up onto the gurney in Copper's medical room. And fucking Wilford Brimley, he's just like, I don't want to do this again. I don't want to do this again. And he starts cutting in. I mean, great. I mean, listen, Wilford Brimley, he overacts in this movie a little bit, especially later on. But and he's good in another scene. But here he's delivered. He's like, okay, I'm going to showcase just how gross it is. And he gets goddamn elbows deep in this shit, because he cuts the skin flaps and he pulls it back and you see all, and again, it's aged so well. Sam, the man's welcome. Chris, how are you today, brother? Where you go? What's going on, Jay? I'm doing very well, Sam. Talking about The Thing, one of my favorite movies of all time. And so he's peeling back the layers of flesh from this thing, and he finds this dog head. He finds a mutated dog skull. He just goes, oh, and then it cuts and it fades to black. And then we get the exposition where he's like, okay, so this thing, haha, like the movie, like this is dog, but it's what this thing's interpretation of dog is. It's imitation. It seems to find an organism, assimilates with it, digests it, and, multiplies. That's what it's doing. It's continually spreading. It's like an infection. And the people are like, wow, that's really fucked up. Well, thank God it's dead, right? And he's like, yeah, I'm going to keep doing some tests on this thing. This is it's a little unusual. I'm going to go by myself for now. And he goes off and he does his little experiments. Because then they start speculating, so is this thing like a fucking alien? Oh, no, not yet. What happens is that, okay, McCready's like, okay, we're going to go out to where those goddamn Norwegians were and see what they were doing. What they were blown up in the ice. And so it's McCready, Norris, and I think maybe Gary. I forget who the third guy, maybe it was Copper. But I know it's definitely Norris and it's definitely McCready and someone else. And they load up in the helicopter, they fly over. And they find the one, they find it, Chad, and it's just huge. It's a matte painting, but it still looks pretty cool. And it's the flying saucer from earlier in the movie. And they go down there, and Norris, he's their geologist. That's his position at the Outpost 31. And he's like, well, based on the cut of the ice, what I'm seeing, this thing where it landed is at least 100,000 years old. McCready goes, fuck, so we're dealing with a goddamn alien. Okay. And then whoever's up there, it might have been Copper. He's like, guys, I found something else. And he finds the block of ice, the 10-foot long block of ice that the Norwegians also cut out that was in the Norwegian outpost. And they're like, shit. And then they head back to base. And everyone's like trying to take this in. Like, Keith Davies like, I'm not going to believe this voodoo bullshit. Do you believe this voodoo bullshit, Wilford Brimley? Wilford Brimley's like, I'm not saying nothing. I have many ideas right now. I'm very concerned. There's also a scene earlier. It's coming up. It's coming up in a second. And, again, Kurt Russell, fucking drink in his hand, Chad, drinking some neat whiskey. He's like, what do you want me to tell you? This thing crash landed on Earth 100,000 years ago, crawled the ship, and it's been frozen, and now it's infecting people. It's infecting things. What do you want me to tell you? That's what we're seeing right now. Seeing is believing, Keith David. And Palmer, he's just fucking smoking, man. He's referencing, Chariots of the Gods and stuff, chat. And aliens have been here since ancient times, man. They taught the Incans how to build pyramids. And, he's as high as fuck. And then, then Keith David's asking, do you believe this, Wilford Brimley? And Wilford Brimley's like, I don't know. Then we get another scene, chat, Wilford Brimley analyzing the dogs. He's with Blaine. He's taking the dog's blood to make sure they're okay. And then Wilford Brimley, he starts asking some questions. He's like, Blaine, when was the dog put in there? When was the dog put in the kennel? And he's like, oh, he was roaming the camp for a good few hours. Last night. He's like, wait, you didn't put him in the kennel until last night. Blaine goes, yeah. And Blaine's like, oh boy. How long were you with that dog? And Blaine's like, about an hour and a half. And Blaine's just looking at him. Wilford Brimley's like, And Blaine's like, why are you looking at me like that? And Wilford Brimley's like, no reason. No reason, probably nothing at all. And then later, chat, Wilford Brimley, he is in his little room. And he's doing some experiments. He's analyzing the effect of the infection. and he bops and boops in his computer chat, and he says like a chance, first of all, chance of people at the camp being infected, 75%. He goes, fuck. What? How long for infection to grow worldwide? 27. This is an odd number that they use, but 27,000 hours. That's 3 years, chat. So if this thing were to escape, that's very fucking quick. It would spread to every person, almost every person on the planet within 3 years. That is crazy. And not only 3 years, but not only people, but all the other organisms on Earth. That's like, thank God this thing landed in goddamn Antarctica. Where there's hardly anything out there. So. And he's just like, shit. And he pulls open the drawer chat. He takes a swig of his Smirnoff, and he grabs himself a pistol. What is Wilford Brimley gonna do next? I'll tell you. But chat, who is it? I think, Wilford Brimley told the guys to load up the bodies, the abomination, the things, chat, into the closet room, the equipment room. And so, like, everyone's getting their stuff that they had packed in there. McCready, he's got all his stuff. He's on the guy, and the fucking Fuchs comes up to him. He's like, McCready, I gotta talk to you, like, right now. And McCready's like, I just want to go up to my shack and drink. It's like, I identify with that, McCready. I'm right there with you. And Fuchs is like, listen, it's about Blair, man. I've read some of the stuff he's talking about, and I want to talk to you. I want to talk to you. And they're like, okay. Meanwhile, fucking Bennings and Windows, they're loading up the rest of the thing bodies in their chat, and Windows, he goes over to look at one of the things, the one that was the abomination human, and he's like, this thing's fucked up, and Bennings is like, that's gonna win someone the Nobel Prize, and I guess that's not gonna be them. They're all scientists, though. Whatever. Also, Windows, he's been trying to get a hold of somebody to report, initially to report the death of the Norwegians when they attacked the camp, but then he might be also trying to contact other people about just this fucking abomination creatures. And so Windows, he puts the cover back on, and he goes over and talks to Bennings, and the fucking blanket moves. It's like, oh my god! Then, right before Windows is about to leave, he's like, was the blanket in that position? Forget it. And he goes and walks out. Bennings is like, I still gotta get stuff out of the room. And he's there, Chan. You see, and the thing monster, he's like, ooh, this is too sweet. Fresh meat. Because Bennings' ass is all up in the camera. It's like, it's hentai time! And it just starts leaking. A little tentacle pops up. But then, chat, we cut back outside. RJ McCready, he's talking to Fuchs. And RJ McCready's like, it's 40 fucking degrees below. What do you want to tell me? And the guy, Fuchs starts reading all this stuff. Blaine, he believes that this thing has infected the camp. He believes that if it goes worldwide, it can infect anything. It can be anything or anyone. It's a perfect imitation. And McCready's like, but it's dead. They're both dead, so it's fine. Fuchs is like, Blaine also identified that the cells of these creatures on a molecular level, they're still alive. And McCready's like, oh, that's not good. We gotta find Wilford Brimley. And right before he goes out, chat. Oh, no, we cut. Because they're walking out of the little snow skiff thing. But then Windows, he's like, I gotta go get some more stuff. And he fucking sees the bloodied clothes of Bennings, chat. And he looks on over, and oh, it is a scene. Fucking Bennings, poor Bennings. He is getting hentai, chat. And it is rough. Tentacles are all up inside of him. And he's like, and he fucking panics and he leaves. He runs outside. And McCready and Fuchs are like, what? And he's like, Bennings! And they know something bad has happened. And they run to the goddamn storeroom, chat, and they find that he's not there. He's like, Windows, like, he was right there. McCready notices that the window's been busted open. He's like, fuck, and he sees Bennings. He sees that emaciated waddle of Louis C.K.'s older brother. He's like, that's Bennings if I've ever known him, and I have known him quite a bit. And he sees him waddled out there. He's like, goddamn, he activates the fire alarm. Everyone runs out there, chat, and they all start to surround Bennings. And you get another really cool scene. Bennings, his hands are like these, I don't know how to describe it, these meat chunks with the elongated fingers and like spikes and shit. And he just gives this inhuman, just this unhuman, like roar. And everyone's like, well, McCready, he knocks down a barrel of gasoline, or whatever it is, fuel. And he has a flare going, and he fucking and he burns him alive. And everyone's like, wow, there's a lot going on right now. McCready's like, where the hell is Wilford Brimley? Everyone's like, we don't know. And he's like, okay, get those fucking things in the store, and we're burning them right now. And McCready's getting all the supplies, he's getting the flamethrower and shit. And Gary comes in, he's like, but fuck, that was Bennings. He was my friend. It's like, that was not Bennings, man. That was the thing. That thing took him over, and Bennings is long dead. We gotta burn him. We gotta burn him even more. And then they take out the other bodies, chat. And then Bennings' body, and they do like a little makeshift kind of, I don't know what, like a container in the snow. They pour gasoline into it, and they burn it. Or like a few. I'm not sure what it is, but they burn him a few. Maybe it was oil. Might be oil. And so they burn him. And then McCready just gives a speech. He's like, okay, is there like a way to figure out like what the hell is going on? Is there like a test we can do or something to see who's the thing? Because like, I know I'm not a thing. I know I'm not a thing because, you know, and so I'm human. And I know that some of you are obviously human, because if you were all things, you would attack me. So whatever the fuck this thing is, it's obviously scared. And Copper's like, well, I mean, to tell, we might be able to do like a blood test or something. We can analyze someone's, because they have like their blood bags, chat. They have these blood packs just in case of emergencies, medical emergencies. And they have them like this in this fridge. And like, we can test someone's the blood that we have in there, and someone possibly their infected blood. And McCready goes, fuck it, let's fucking do it. And so then they go into the, they go back into the camp, and where they see, chat, the fridge is leaking blood. And they're like, what the hell is going on? They open up, chat, all the blood packs have been destroyed. Oh, Sam the Man, Jetovazic, thank you so much, Sam the Mans. Appreciate that, my friend. That was very, very kind of you. Oh, Steve! Steve, welcome. Hope you're doing well. Ooh, chat, we're getting ever so closer to my next cartoon review poll, chat. I like that. I like that. Clink, clink. Clink, clink to you, sir. And so, this is when everything starts falling apart, because everyone's questioning each other. You know, oh, no, did I skip a scene at this point? I might, oh, you know what? No, I'm sorry. I believe I did skip a scene. So when all the shenanigans was going down, when they burned the bodies and things, McCready, he sees Wilford Brimley. And he's like, fucking Wilford Brimley, is that you? Wilford Brimley, he runs off in the night. He's like, what the hell is that? He's messing with the helicopter. He goes over to the helicopter, chat, and he sees that Wilford Brimley has totally destroyed the helicopter. And he's like, fuck. Oh, Jesus. And you know, like, oh, boy, this is not good. And then, Chet, he goes inside, and he hears this fucking shooting going on. Wilford Brimley, he's taken over. He's attacked. Windows knocked him out, and he's destroying all the communication equipment. We realize Wilford Brimley's doing this so they won't leave the camp, so the thing won't leave the camp. So he destroys all the modes of transportation out of there, and now he's destroying all the equipment. Windows did manage to contact a rescue team, though. So the rescue team is on their way. But still, Wilford Brimley doesn't want that, because the thing could possibly get away. So he's got an axe, Chad. He's smashing all this stuff. Wilford Brimley is chewing goddamn scenery. He's at 11, Chad. He's overacting his ass off. Everyone's coming in. It's like, okay, what the hell are we gonna do? And, you know, McCready's like, why don't you go talk to him, Keith David? And Keith David's like, I'll go do that. He's got the diabetes. He defeated the diabetes. He did that. I think he cured it with his anger. And so, thank you so much, Joey. Joey the Jedi, welcome. The diabetes. Maybe that's what's causing him to act this way. Maybe that's the diabetes. And so, Keith David goes, hey, Wilford Brimley, you okay? Wilford Brimley, without a fucking word, pulls out his gun and immediately starts shooting at Keith David. He's like, he doesn't want to talk right now. And so they pull little bamboos on him, chat. They go in different directions. They have a fucking table. Wilford Brimley, he's like, I'm using all of my strength, and he fucking throws the axe into the table, and they start wrestling, chat. Wilford Brimley manages to throw Kurt Russell off of him. He becomes Hulk, chat. He throws Kurt Russell off of him. He throws fucking Keith David off of him. People are like, he's too strong. We can't beat him. I need that insulin. He's doing well. They're tricking up Windows. He's fucking knocked to shit. He's severely concussed. Eventually, it takes the combined efforts, chat, of of RJ McCready, of goddamn Childs, of Fuchs, and I think also Norris. And they all beat the shit out of Wilford Brimley just to incapacitate him. And my favorites, it's a very brief scene, but like, because all the actors are on top of each other, you see the actor who played Fuchs, he's like, fuck it. He just kind of falls down to get out of the way, because everyone's crawling on top of each other to fight Wilford Brimley. It is amazing. Thank you. Who was that little donation? I'm sorry. Darkslayer, thank you for the 5 biddies. This movie definitely inspired Prototype. Yeah, no man, all the hentai arms and shit. And so they defeat him. Then they check on Windows chat. They get him patched up and stuff. And then later on, they talk about the blood test. They go over there. Also, no, before that, I'm sorry. Then they fucking inject Wilford Brimley the insulin as he needed, and they take him out to the woodshed outside the facility. They put him in there, and I guess they inoculate him with something. They give him some kind of sedative, keep him calm. And just before McCready's about to leave, Blair's like, I just don't know who to trust. And McCready's like, hey, you and me both, old man. You and me both. And Blair, his last word of advice he has, and fucking, again, McCready always had a drink in his hand. He has some Smirnoff that he gave I forget if it was Fuchs or someone else had given to Wilford Brimley. And fucking Kurt Russell's like, I need a drink now. He just fucking takes a swig of that. He's always drinking every single scene, chat. But he says the line, watch Clark. Watch Clark. And it's like, oh shit, okay. All right, we gotta watch Clark, chat. Also, I think I might have been calling Clark Blaine for most of the review. Chat, at this point, if you're yelling at me, Blaine is now Clark. He's the dog, the kennel master. You know what we're talking about. He's the kennel master. I don't know what I was coming to Blaine for. That was weird. But, because Blair is Blair. I think that's why I was getting confused. But no, Clark the dog master. And he's like, watch Clark. And McCready just leaves without an answer. Then he goes to Copper's like, hey, can we do this blood test? Copper's like, hell yeah, let's do it. But then they go to the fridge chat, and all the blood's been destroyed. And everyone's like, what the fuck? And like, who could have got in there? And, Copper's like, well, I'm the one that always handles it. And Gary's like, but I have the key. And, people are like, where's Clark? And he's like, I'm right here. It's like everyone starts to not trust each other. Everyone starts fighting with each other, chat. Many words and fisticuffs have been thrown. Because Blaines are bad people. That might be it. Nah, you're a Blaine, that's fine. I don't know, I was getting that confused. And, McCready's like, he's asking, would this blood test have worked? And, Copper's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure it would have worked. Meanwhile, fucking Windows is having a panic attack, and he's like, oh, jeez, oh, God. He feels a Fredo moment. It's a Fredo moment, chat. It's like, I'm smart. I'm not dumb. And he runs. Everyone's like, Windows, get back. And Windows is like, oh. He's got that Tom Cruise run, chat. He's going for the weapons. He fucking busts in there. He grabs a shotgun. He's trying to load it, but his little hands can't do it. And fucking Gary, he's got the gun on him. He's like, you put that down, son. I'm just like, please don't shoot me. I'm sorry. And they take the gun from Windows. And Gary's like, I'll kill you all. It's like, no, don't do that, Gary. And Gary's like, okay, maybe someone else should be in charge. Norris, I think everyone would be okay with you. Norris is like, I'm just the nice guy. I don't want to do that. And fucking Keith David's like, I'll be in charge. And RJ McCready's like, no. Take it easy, Keith David. Well, we want someone who's a little level-headed. Someone who's had a nice little drink in their hands. They're much, much better. And so he's like, I'm going to be in charge. And technically, I have been anyway. I'm in charge of this bitch now. About post 31. And so then they take the bloody containers, the blood bags, outside, and they burn them. And McCready, he's basically saying, it's like, I don't know who to trust right now, but we're going to separate some of you. And so he separates Copper, Gary, and Clark. And they go off on their little thing right there. Who's drinking? I'm going to drink. Julie and Mr. Hummendinger, welcome to the stream. Hope you're doing well. And so he separates them, and he tells Norris, like, okay, you're going to inoculate them. You're going to give them a sedative to keep them calm. You're going to tie them up on the couch, too. And they're like, fuck, okay. And so they go out there, and they're going to do that. Meanwhile, he asks Fuchs can you do a new test based on Wilford Brimley's notes. Oh, Lanine Patoon, thank you so much for the 2-month subscription. 2 months in a row on a 2-month streak. Thank you, Lanine Patoon. Welcome to stream. I'm doing very well tonight. Thank you for the support, guys. And so Fuchs is like, sure, but I'm going to try my best. And McCready's like, okay, you do you, boo. I'm going to go solve this matter right here. So then Fuchs, he's just working his little laboratory chat. He's writing down notes. Oh, that's when he gives the advice to McCready. He's like, oh, yeah, by the way, I think it would be best if we social distance 6 feet apart, and we should all, prepare our own meals and all start eating from cans. Because even if, a little fucking particle can get in us, it can start infecting us. Based on what Wilford Brimley wrote down. McCready's like, sounds good to me. And then Fuchs, he's just writing some shit, chat. We see the light, his little light, it just starts flickering. He's like, ah, shit. And he goes into his little drawer chat, pulls out a candle. It's like someone might have cut the generator this part of the camp. And he's just walking in this room, this dark room, towards the hallway. And we get one of the scariest fucking scenes. And the sound effect, bah, this guy just moves past him. He's like in the shadows. Like, what? Who are you? Who is that? Who, what? And Fuchsy runs out of the goddamn facility chat. He's like looking for, I don't know if he's looking for the creature. I don't know if he's looking for help. But he's got a goddamn flare. I think he has a flare. Yeah, he has a flare at this point. And then he's stumbling around, chat, and he finds some tattered clothes. And he picks them up, and they're the tattered clothes of R.J. MacReady. Oh my God! Is Kurt Russell the Thing? Is he one of the things? We'll find out. Then we cut. And it's like, what the hell happened? What's going on? R.J. MacReady is like, someone turn off the goddamn power for the last hour in Fuchs's place, and we don't know where he is. And so he asks Niles. And I believe, I don't know if, who is the other person he asks? Oh, shit. Oh, Windows. And he's like, okay, we're going to go out there. We're going to look for Fuchs. Fucking Norris, if either of them do something funny, fucking burn them alive. And he's like, I'm just a nice guy. I don't want to do that, but I will. I'll fucking do it. And then they go outside, and they then come upon a burned fucking body. MacReady, he picks up the glasses, and it's Fuchs. He burned himself. And I was like, why would he burn himself? He's like, I don't know, either to prevent him being infected by the thing from being digested. And he says, Windows, go tell the guys that what happened. And, Niles is like, well, where the hell are we going? And he's like, we're going up to my shed. It's like, Niles is like, why am I going up to your shed? Okay, I know you're lonely, R.J. MacReady. You got the PTSD from Vietnam, but I don't want to do anything. He's like, don't worry about it. We got to go up there because last night I turned my lights off and the lights are on in his shack. So we're going to head out there. So he heads up there, chat. Meanwhile, fucking Keith David, he's keeping an eye out on the situation. Same with Palmer and things. And they're like, okay, what the hell's going on here? And so it's been way too long. They're like, okay, fuck this. Let's just start barricading ourselves in here. So Palmer, Norris, and Keith David and Windows, they all start just nailing fucking wood against the doors and shit, just trying to prevent anything from coming in. But then Norris, he's carrying a whole bunch of shit, man. He's got all this wood in hand, and he sees by the window. He's like, guys, look at this. And he goes, ow. It's like, oh, his heart chest. Something's wrong with his heart. He's got a little tummy ache maybe. And then he sees someone coming out from out of the snow, out of the snowstorms. Like, who the hell is that? And they let him in, but everyone's got their fucking flamethrower on him. And it's goddamn Niles, chat. Niles is like, I cut him loose. It's like, who did you cut loose? MacReady. I lost him in the storm. And they're like, why'd you do that? Because I found this. And it's MacReady's tattered clothes. And they're like, oh my God, he's one of them. He's one of the things. And then while this discussion's going, everyone's arguing with each other. Niles is like, I'm so scared. The fucking door handle behind him is like turning. He's like, oh my God, MacReady's right there. It's like, fucking, what do you want? What should we do? What should we do? He's like, open it so we can burn him. It's like, why? Why would you want that? Why would you want to open it? Everyone's questioning each other. Also, there's this great scene earlier on in the film where MacReady, he's talking into a tape recorder and it's just, again, with a fucking drink in the hand, chat. He's always drinking this movie. He's like an alcoholic. And it's him talking about how we're all very tired and nobody trusts anyone. And he plays it and he hears it on repeat. And, basically it's like R.J. MacReady signing off and stuff. It's like his captain's log moment. It's pretty cool. But then, it's like clearly MacReady's trying to get back in. And they're like, what the hell is he doing? And then they hear a window break. He's like, oh, he's in the storeroom. And we get this really weird, awkward kind of like head turn by Palmer. Have you ever seen the movie? Look at, he's like, he's in the storeroom. It's like he's looking at the camera. Like, what was that? Anyway. They go out to the storeroom door, but they can't get it open. He's like, because fucking MacReady has the keys. He took them from Gary, and fucking Keith David's like, fuck it! And he grabs an axe chat, and he just begins hacking on the door, trying to get in. And MacReady, you can just see MacReady in there just shaking the shit, and he's got like a little light. It's like, what's going on? Another flare. And they break down the door, chat, but MacReady has a fucking huge, like not a stick of dynamite, but a bundle, chat, a bundle of dynamite. He's like, get the fuck back. Stay back. I will blow the shit out of you guys. And then they try to rush him, chat. They try to rush him. But it doesn't work because he still has the fucking stick. And fucking Norris, he gets pushed back, chat. He gets pushed back. He falls over and he goes... can't breathe. What's going on? They go ahead and check on him. And they're like, holy shit, what's wrong with Norris? We got to get him to the gurney. Get him to the medical room. And so they untie Copper because Copper's like, well, I'm the doctor here. He's having a heart attack? I don't know. And fucking MacReady, he's just shaking and pointing his flamethrower at everybody. And they're like, tried to leave me to die out there, didn't you? Like, again, like, it's just chaos constantly. They're arguing, and then Copper is just trying his best to resuscitate, goddamn Norris. And eventually he's like, I gotta get the shocky things. I got the shocky things! And he does a chest shocky thing, no pulse. And he's like, okay, this is the good one! And he does a chest, fucking Norris's abdomen, stomach, chest opens up, and he sticks his hands, he's like, oh fuck, and it bites down his arms and rips them off. And he falls over, and then fucking, he was the thing, chat. Goddamn Norris is the thing. And then he's just vibrating and shit, and just his stomach vomits up this creature, and it's like a weird abomination hentai. Norris is like, it's great. It's a wonderful puppet. It's so good. Jero Cat, welcome to stream. And they're like, what the hell? And meanwhile, Norris's head is like also reacting and slowly ripping off of his body. Get the practical effects in this sequence, Jen. Like, this is the money shot. This is where the money was spent. It's ripping off of his body, so it's like multiple forms are trying to escape. It's like, it's trying to just get, like, we gotta get the fuck out of here. And then MacReady, he takes the flamethrower, he burns the weird spider hentai, Norris on the ceiling. He burns the body. And then we see, again, another great shot of the Norris head just kind of writhing the ground, shoots out its tongue and drags itself under a desk. And then eventually it fucking births these spider legs from its head and like has like a stalks, like these little like eye stalks that come out of it, like from its neck stump. And so then it just starts like, I'm gonna skedaddle. And it just starts trying to creep out of there as slowly as possible. You get one of the best lines in the movie from goddamn Palmer. You gotta be fucking kidding. And they all turn around and this thing looks at them and they're looking at the thing and they just burn it. It's a great moment. They burn it. It's fucking screaming. Whoo! And then I think at this point, they're like, okay, we're going to go to the room now. We're going to do the blood test. Because like MacReady's like, I have an idea. I have an idea about what we're going to do. But right before that, because all of a sudden fucking Clark is acting real nice. He's like, no, we should do what MacReady says. And we see Chad, he's got a little pocket knife. He's got a little pocket knife behind his back. And he gets the knife. He's like, he's going to stab MacReady. But then MacReady, he's too fast because he has a gun chain. Boom! He kills Clark. Clark is dumb. Clark is dead. It's like, there's a lot. Everyone's like, Jesus. MacReady orders Windows, I believe, to tie everyone else that's still alive up. And this is another great sequence. All these happen in succession of one another. So he orders Windows, because I think he's like, Windows, I think you're okay. For the most part, out of everybody, I think you were probably the okay. He orders Windows to tie Knowles, Gary, Keith David, and Palmer all up. And he's like, I realized something that watching Norris is that every part of him acted like a separate organism, trying to get away. So my idea is, it's the blood test again, but if I were to heat a tip of this wire and make it like red hot and hit it, it'll react and try to escape. And there's nothing that the thing that it came from can do anything about it. It's like, that is fucking genius. That's pretty cool. That's a great idea. And I'm going to change this to just, I just realized I had Mass Effect Andromeda up here. It's just chatting, god damn it. Not playing Mass Effect Andromeda. Go ahead and make that quick change. Forgive me. And everyone's like, that's a load of hooey. And MacReady's like, I think it's going to work. And then this scene's a little fucked up, though, because he starts to basically, he's like, okay, cut everyone's thumb and get a little blood in there. And everyone cuts each other's thumb. They use some alcohol. And he's like, okay, you last, Windows. And Windows like, no fucking alcohol. He's just like, I'm just going to wipe it on my jeans. And then he cuts his thumb. It's like, I don't think that's good. I don't think that's been cleansed, but whatever, fuck it. So he does that. MacReady, he starts to test everyone's blood. He tests, I believe, Windows first. Then he tests, who does he test next? Yeah, then he tests himself. And then that's when, I believe Gary says, this is a load of nonsense. He's like, oh, I thought you say that, Gary. That's why I'll do you last. And while he said that, Chad, he has Palmer's blood. And right when Palmer's just like, yeah, do what you want to do, man. He hits it, like, kind of like Absman. I was like, Palmer's obviously not the thing. Fucking hits it, and the thing bursts open. He's like, what the fuck? And then Palmer just begins, just begins shaking. And then what's great about it is that goddamn Gary and Keith David, they're tied to the same couch as Palmer is. And they're like, ah! And they're screaming, they can't get out. And then McCready, he's like, fucking Windows, get to your fucking flamethrower. Like, McCready, he can't burn it. His thing is malfunction. And you just see fucking Palmer begin just to mutate. And then he's just lifting the couch up trying to escape. I mean, his head's so enlarged and shit. And fucking bloody tentacle hands and stuff. And he's just, I mean, it's going up and down shit. He smashes into the floor. And then we get an amazing shot here. I love this. Of him, it's so alien looking. Of him doing a backwards jump into the air and land on the ceiling like Spider-Man. But it's so cool how he does. It's like physically, how would something like that do that? But because it's so alien, it's an ability it picked up from maybe another species. And I just love that effect. And it's up there. McCready's like, fucking Windows, burn him! And Windows, he fucking blows it. Because he gets it there, chat, and he's a deer in the headlights. And he's like, oh my god! He pulls a Fredo, chat. And this thing fucking comes down right before him. Its head pustule opens up and it engulfs Windows' head, chat. And it lifts him up in the air. Everyone's screaming. Fucking Windows' goddamn legs are kicking and destroying the lamps and stuff, chat. Everyone's like, what are we doing? What are we doing? McCready, he's trying his best to get the flamethrower working. Palmer thing vomits Windows up after a while. He lands into like a cupboard or something. He's like he's becoming the thing. He's mutating too. McCready eventually he does get the flamethrower working. He starts burning Palmer. Palmer's like, fuck this, and he goes through a wall. Oh yeah, pull the Kool-Aid Man. It's a Kool-Aid Man thing, chat. And he stumbles out in the snow. And McCready, he grabs a stick of dynamite, lights it, throws it, and explodes instantly. Apparently, that was real, the shot, because you could actually see Kurt Russell's reaction, like right after that, and that was real. He's like, "Fuck!" It was so close. It's very dangerous. And then he goes back, and everyone's screaming, and it's like, "Fucking burn Windows!" Because Windows is like, he's like mutating. He's like, "Fuck it!" He takes a flamethrower jab, burns the shit out of Windows, and then everyone calms down for a second, and then McCready continues on with the experiment. He then uses it on Knowles, then Childs, and last and certainly not least, Gary. And he uses it on Gary, chat, and he's fine. And he says, now, gentlemen, if you wouldn't mind, I wouldn't like to spend winter tied to this fucking couch! I know the great line. They eventually untie him, and they're like, okay, we gotta go ahead and burn Windows 8. We got to go ahead and do the experiment, the blood test on Blair, chat, Wilford Brimley. Also, there was another scene. I forgot to say this because of all the chaos. There's another scene earlier where McCready does go back to the shack to check on Blair. And Blair he's made some changes, and you see that there's a fucking noose hanging right next to him, and he's eating fucking Chef Boyardee. He's like, hey man, hey, and I love it too, because it's Wilford Brimley like, hey man, I'm cool, man. Hey man, come back, come on. Like, I'm feeling much better. I want to come back inside. I'm feeling much better. It's a very comedic scene. Then they go away. But then they have to go back to Blair because they got to give him the blood test. And they go in there, chat, and they notice the fucking door to the shack's open. They go, ah, shit. And Blair's gone, and they don't know where the hell he is. Meanwhile, Childs, Keith David, he's back at the main facility. He's watching them do this. And then he's like, okay, well, that's fucking weird. And so it's like, what the hell's going on? And then they step on some floorboards, and they notice that they're like loose. And it's like, just like feels like there's nothing below them. And they open those up, and there's a giant tunnel. And they're like, oh hell. And they go down this tunnel, chat, and they see that Blair, or maybe he's not Blair anymore, Wilford Brimley, the diabetes got to him, chat. He has all this equipment set up, and he's building a saucer. He's building an alien spacecraft, and they go, fuck, the thing got Blair. And it's like, okay. Damn it. And they head back up there, chat, and they notice that the lights of the camp have all shut down, and they see, or no, right before that, they think they see Keith David Childs run out of the door and into the snowstorm. Like, what the hell is he doing? And then all the lights shut down. And like, fuck. And McCready realizes, like, okay, this is what's happening. This thing knows it can't get anywhere. It knows that the rescue team is coming, but we can't let that happen because it wants to freeze. It wants to go to sleep because it survived for 100,000 years in the ice, no problem. And so it can't leave, and we probably can't leave either. We got to kill this thing no matter what, and it might mean our deaths. And so they then proceed, chat, to blow up the camp. They fucking take a giant bundle of dynamite. They blow up the spaceship that Blair thing was working on, and they go throughout the entire facility. And it's great because they actually destroyed the set. Because they built the set and then destroyed the set. It was filmed in a sense of a chronological order, which is unique for a film. It often doesn't happen. But they're blowing. They use fucking Molotov cocktails, chat, and things. They're blowing. Everything's on fire. Eventually they go, all right, we got to go to the generator room. We got to make sure. I forget the reason why they go to the generator. I guess we got to destroy that too. And or maybe they can hide out down there. It's not made clear why they need to go to the generator room. But MacReady goes, we got to go down there. And so they go down there, chat. And very cool set, because you can tell like this outpost is very old because they have like technology and tools that feel like decades ago, and they've just been there for years. There's just a lot of character to this sequence right here. It's amazing to me. Great set design. And so Gary, he goes over the generator and he goes, generator's gone, MacReady. MacReady's like, can't we fix it? And Gary's like, no, it's gone. It's just vanished. And MacReady's like, what? It took the generator? Because it's still trying to get out of there somehow, chap. Using our technology for its benefit. And MacReady's like, fuck it. We gotta line every single square inch of this thing with dynamite and blow the shit out of it. Because it might be here. And then they proceed to put sticks of dynamite everywhere. We follow Gary for a bit. He's kind of in the back of the room, chat. He's like, I gotta take a breather. Whew, I am parched. I'm tired. Takes off his little earmuffs, chat. He's like, whoo, and all the fuck from out of the darkness pulls the goddamn Batman. It's Wilford Brimley, and he goes. He fucking uses his hand. It's such a cool effect. He uses his hand to then pierce this flesh, the upper layer of flesh of Gary, but it's not bleeding or anything, chat. He's just penetrating him. He's just penetrating. It's like, I would say it's not. I wouldn't say it's like rubbery, but it kind of looks like rubber. But it's good effect. It's just like the upper layer of skin. He's like, and he's just injecting all of his thing hentai juices into Gary. It's like Jesus. And then we see this great shot of Knowles. He's helping MacReady, and he looks over, and we see that Wilford Brimley's hand has become a part of Gary's face, and it's all one thing now, and he drags, it's very disturbing. He drags him off screen. Knowles is like, what the fuck was that? And he wanders over, Chad. He's like, are you okay, Gary? And he just goes out in that direction, Chad. And MacReady's like, hey guys, hey, you almost done here? And he looks up and they're not there. Knowles has disappeared. He's like, oh fuck. And it's just dead silent, no response. He's like, all right. And he slowly, because he got like that old-fashioned, like a I forget what it's called, but you know, the goddamn thing where you press down and blows everything up. He's like, he raises that thing, chat, and he kind of like wanders over there, just like, I'm gonna go see what's happening. And then the whole room begins to shake, and then this fucking tidal wave of snow and wood just comes right at him, and like, boom! And it's like, he's like, ah! And then the floor bursts open, and you see this giant tentacle take the box, chat, and rip it down, because it's smart, it knows what's going on. And then another explosion happens under right near MacReady, and out fucking pops an abomination Wilford Brimley with like a weird reptilian creature attached to his face. Other people's faces that had just absorbed. Knowles is there. Gary's is there. You also see it's birthing a dog from its stomach. It's just blah. It's like, Jesus! And MacReady's like, all right, fuck this. He lit a dynamite stick, and he picks up that dynamite, and just before he does a little somersault, he's like, and fuck you too! And he throws it, Chad. He throws it, and boom! Huge explosion. He killed it. And then we just see RJ MacReady's got a blanket over himself. He's like, PTSD's kicking in, and he's just walking, Chad. He's walking. He's got his bottle of whiskey, or is it whiskey? And he's just waddling out there, Chad. He just finds this dilapidated little building that the fire's gone out from. He just sits there. And then who pops up behind him? Goddamn Keith David. And RJ MacReady turns around, and he's like, where the hell were you, Childs? Where were you? And Childs is like, I thought I saw Wilford Brimley run out into the storm, and I chased after him, and I got lost. And again, they're just staring at each other, chat, and Childs, he sits down, Keith David sits down, and MacReady, he's like, well, yeah, we kind of don't know what each other are. And Childs is like, yeah, we kind of don't. And Childs goes like, how do you think we can get out of this? And MacReady's like, maybe we shouldn't get out of this. Maybe we shouldn't. And I love this scene because then you get the music bump playing in the background. And MacReady offers Childs the whiskey bottle. Childs takes it, starts drinking. And you just see a smirk on MacReady's face after that. And he kind of rests his head. And then it cuts to a wide shot of the camp, totally on fire, ablaze. And then the credits. That's the thing. It is a detonator. Thank you. It's a detonator. Thank you so much. And then you get the credits and the sequence. John Carpenter's the thing. Now, the ending has many interpretations. People speculate that Childs is actually the thing. And it's basically MacReady and this creature having that conversation. And there's some evidence to that. One of the even Carpenter has even said, he might have even come out and said, like, no, like, it's not. But he kind of appreciates people, making their own theories, I guess. But there is some evidence that point to that it probably, you could see it being that way. You could interpret it that way because, one, the bottle of alcohol that MacReady has, you can see that they have made Molotov cocktails and they all fill them with gasoline. And so, like, this last Molotov cocktail he handed to Keith David was filled with gasoline and drank it. And MacReady's like, fucking, I know what you are. You drank gasoline. You obviously, you had no reaction to it. And he's like, you're the goddamn thing. Also, chat, right before Childs leaves the facility, we see him in a brown parka. He's wearing a light brown parka. And then later in this scene, he's wearing an all blue, a dark navy blue parka. Now, as we know, the thing, what happens when it takes you over is that it bursts out of your clothes. It rips you out of your clothes. And so Childs, Keith David, could have been infected and burst out of his clothes, and he put on the new clothes. And so those are the two lines of thought that people typically go with that. Keith David was infected at the end of the movie. Oh, Bad Shields, thank you so much. Submonk 2, Electric Boogaloo. Bad Shields, thank you so much, my friend. Just finished my Thing review. But I'm kind of curious, guys, to hear what you how do you interpret the ending? I'm really, really curious. But overall, you guys know I love this movie. On the DT scale, this is nothing but a better than sex. I love Kurt Russell's performance. It's great. You got some. Everyone. There's a lot of actors in this film, and some people get to do more than others. But they, at least every single one of them, gets a good line or a good moment, and I really appreciate that. But yeah, it is a hallmark of the sci-fi horror subgenre. It does everything right, in my opinion. It's a film that has clearly influenced so many other filmmakers and writers for nearly 40 years, chat. This movie will be 40 years old in 2022. Yeah, I appreciate it. Better than sex. High better than sex, if that's possible. Davin, the game based on the thing, confirms that what happens after. Oh, yeah, I know Davin. Well, it was Childs. He was human. He was human, and MacReady escaped somehow? That's unexplained. I remember the game. But I don't know if that's canon or not. Chris Ayers, I always figured neither of them were infected. That could be it, too. That could be very it. I could just be right into it. Davin better than sex, Iron Laser. It's like, Yeah. So, don't know wrestlers chunking Diesel nowadays. Captain, I always thought nobody was a thing and escaped while they all sat. So, funny you mentioned that, Captain. There was a television cut. There was the edited version of it for television. The last shot of the movie is not the camp burning, but this was done against John Carpenter's wishes. He did not like this. But the last shot of the edited version for television is another dog running into the night and looking behind it to the burning camp. And so it's then assumed that the thing did get away because it transformed into a dog again. So that's also speculative. But again, I don't think that's available on the Blu-ray. I don't think that's available now. I think even John Carpenter, he just owns that version. Because that was not done with his permission. So, but the TV, that's how I originally saw it too, back in the day. But then I saw it on DVD and then later Blu-ray. But yeah, that version does exist. But yes, remember that? I thought that was. Yeah, I was just like, oh, so it meant nothing. So everything that happened meant nothing. It's the same thing again. And you're right, Chris. There's a kill the dogs. Well, it's assumed that because it absorbed the dog, that it can then transform into the dog again. So I can understand that, but I don't consider that to be the official ending. I think the official ending is it's left up to speculation if Childs is the thing, or maybe they're not. Or what's going to happen is they're going to die. I think that's obvious because the flames are going to go down. They're going to freeze to death, and that's kind of it. It's a very dark and morbid ending. The last 20 minutes is Kurt Russell saying we're gonna die doing this, but we have to stop it from getting to the world and killing all these people, which is very noble. I like that. But yeah. Yeah. Batches, are there any good movies that are remade, but instead of bringing the subject to modern times or future, it takes place in the past? Remakes? but set in the past, or maybe at that time. I can't think of anything. That's a very good question. I'm gonna say new. Oh wait, well, could you say that the Planet of the Apes movies are technically the rebooted Apes trilogy? That is a remake, or no? It's more of, I guess it's more of a prequel, right? Because that technically does take place in the past, because the original Planet of the Apes takes place like the year 3000 something. When you want an actual sequel to the thing, for years I was like, I would love a sequel, but at this point, no. It's perfect the way it is. I think anything you would attempt to do is just kind of derivative. Like, they did the prequel, and it's like, I watched it, like, I didn't need this. Nothing about it. And if anything, they didn't take away from the original movie. But some of the choices they made at that film, it was just, they fucked up, in my opinion. But no, I'm kind of perfect with. There is a script out there for a sequel that was going to take place in the desert, I believe, like in the continental United States, in Mexico or New Mexico, I believe. And but it would have been weird because it would have had plenty of material to fucking take over. But there is a I think it was going to be a TV show on Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah. But at this point, Thunderly, I don't need a sequel. I don't need another movie. It's fine the way it is. I'll tell you this, I prefer films that are just heavily influenced by the thing. A spiritual successor, if you will. I'm fine with that. And it's a masterpiece and shows that the thing is a remake, technically. Be shit. Also, side note, while I do acknowledge the significance to make effects, I'm not a big fan of Rob Bottin. Don't hate the work, but I don't have the emotional connection to his work like Rick Baker's work. Also, he really is fucking insane. All right, fair enough. Yes. Coco Chops is one of my favorite reviews. I thought the thing... Thank you so much, man. I thought the thing escaped on its own, too, but the jacket change makes more sense to me now. That's what I'm saying. Like, why would he change jackets? Like, you go back, watch the movie, chat. He has a light brown jacket on, and then he's wearing a dark navy blue jacket. It's like, that's a difference. Now, it could be just like they forgot what and it happens all the time, what jacket Keith David was wearing. That's probably the real reason, but still, it's like, it's interesting. It's just kind of cool. Show, thank you for the 20-minute happy Friday. Cheers to you. I got to go ahead and freshen my beverage, chat. Okay. Completely original works don't really exist anyway. The best movies have the greatest illusions. Very true. Captain, I think the past 15 years have really fucked us on enjoying sequels and prequels, and goddamn if I see it on the trilogy. Yeah, I mean, we have gotten great ones. Like, I think the Apes trilogy is one of the best. It's absolutely one of the best modern trilogies. Certainly last decade. I mean, what would you put up there for, like, I think it might be the best trilogy. Well, I guess you cut some of the Marvel movies, you could say. But Apes is certainly in the discussion. Yeah, it could be a continuity error at Dark Slayer. Yeah, it could very well be that. And there's no doubt. But I like to play around. Like, this is a film I love talking about, love speculating about, love, picking apart and putting back together again.